Hi friends, welcome to my channel DevOps and Tech Insights. In this video, we are going to discuss branch protection rules in version control system. We have a different version control system like GitHub, GitLab, and Bitbucket, and some other version control systems also. So in this session, we are going to talk about what are the branch protection rules, why do we need the branch protection rules, and what are the importance of the branch protection rules. So let's get started. So branch protection rules are the set of rules configured in the GitHub that control the who can manage the code and who can make the changes under what conditions. The rules put in a place to ensure the code quality, security, and to establish a control process for incorporating the new changes in the project. So basically, branch protection rules protect the critical branches source code, for example master or release branches. Those release branches or master branches contains the production ready code, so we don't want to alter the changes into that production ready code. Okay, so making the before committing the changes into that critical branches, that code should go through the proper review and should be built and tested properly, and it also should pass code quality checks. So if we don't enable branch protection rules, the users can directly commit code into the critical branches, and that can cause bugs, it can introduce errors. So once they deploy that code into the production, it can cause a lot of issues. So to avoid that, we need to enable the branch protection rules. So why do we need branch protection rules? To avoid the unauthorized changes, to avoid the bad commits. So once the code committed to the branches, if it is causing some issues, then it saves a lot of time to revert, a lot of time to debug what is the causing the issue, and it will take a lot of time to fix the code. So before committing the code into the critical branches, we need to properly review, test it, and we need to check all code quality checks and everything. So branch protection rules make sure that our code is met the odd code quality checks. So code has been reviewed by the authorized users before the changes are commit before the changes are measured into the important branches like master and release, and so that it reduce the number of bugs are error into that code, production ready code. So it also provides security from unauthorized changes, especially for the production ready code which is there in the master and release branches. And also we can enable the automation testing by applying these rules. So once the user created the feature branch, that code should go through the all build and all the builds and testing should be done before that code is committing to the critical branches. So once user code is ready, it should pass the builds and should also pass all the code quality checks, and also all test cases should be passed. So whenever user want to push some changes into the critical branches, code should pause all the checks. The code should be properly reviewed, builds and tests, and everything should be paused. And avoid post pushes. So post pushes to the critical branches is not a good practice. So code should go through all this process. Review code should be reviewed by the authorized users. It should pass the builds and test cases should be passed. Then code quality check should pass. Then only code is allowed to merge into the mainstream branches like release or master. Collaboration guidelines. Branch production rules also help us to work together better. Whenever we enable that option in branch production rule, that code should go through the number of reviews, one or two reviews. Then the collaborators who are authorized to review your code or review your code properly, and they provide their insights and they provide their comments there, like whether you can optimize the code or that could cause any performance issues. So they review the code, they will provide their insights in their comment section, in the pull request comment section. And branch production rules also helps in release management process. So generally all projects will follow some release management process. So before that code goes to the release branches, those branches will be used for the production releases. It should pause, builds, pause the test cases, and code should be properly reviewed. Then only that code is allowed to merge to the release branches. So to meet all these code qualities, securities, and compliance and collaboration, we need to enable the branch production rules. And overall, branch production rules are safety rules for our code that make sure that only authorized people make the changes. Then help us to avoid any mistakes or bad commit, and it also help people work together and gives the better quality of the code. So branch production rules are helpful to keep our code safe and good. So let have a quick demo on this one, on the branch production rules. This is my GitHub repository. Here I'm stick to the topic, so I'm not going to create any repository or any org here, and also I'm not creating any branches. Just I'm sticking to the topic, and topic that branch production rules, how to enable the branch production rules. Okay, so this is my project called demo project, and it has the master, feature, and release branches. So for example, this release branch has some critical code, and that is a production ready code. So we don't want to have the unauthorized commits or bad commits to this production ready code. So for that branch we need to enable the branch production rules. As of now, this branch doesn't have any rules, so we can directly make the changes to the any file. For example, I'm making some changes to this file, testing 123 blah blah blah. So you can commit the changes directly. There are no rules here. Directly without creating the PR also you can commit the changes, but we don't want this. Code should follow some particular standards, and it should be properly built. Should have minimum number of minimum required number of reviews, and should have some code quality checks. It should have passed some test cases. So let's see how to enable the branch protection rules for this branch. So go to this repo, go to the settings section, and here you can find the branches. So as of now, there are no branch protection rules enabled for this release branch. You can add the rules here. Click on this add branch protection rules rule. You can give name to this pattern. I'm giving release star. So these rules will be applicable all the branches which are matching with the name called release, starting with the name release. So we have certain rules here, so we can enable. So we don't want the direct commit to the that branch release branch, so all code should come to the PR only. Then we need to check this option and how many number of roles are required to commit this change. So we can set 1 or 2, so that merge option will be enabled only after getting the required number of approvals. You can also check this option called required review from code owners. The source code we can maintain the we can have the code owners file. In that file we can maintain the all the code owners. Okay, so we can create one group, we can include that group in that code owners file, and we can so for before so for like to push any changes to that release branches, we need a code owners approval also and code owners reviews also. Then only that match, then only we can push the changes into the release branch. I will take a separate session for this one, like how to create the code owners file, how to create the code owners group, and how to create the code owners file, and how to include that code owners file, how to get the review from the code owners file. We have a separate session for that one. So as of now, I'm sticking to this topic called branch protection rules. And also we can enable this status checks before status checks to pass before merging. So status checks in the sense like a build should be passed and test cases should be passed, and any code quality check should be passed for sonar cube or a sonar scanner, any other PMD or any other sonar or any other code quality check should be passed. And so basically here I am using a free edition, that's why it's not showing those checks here. Like generally we'll get the default section PR lint loaded, means PR lint loaded means that will like there we configure our PR should PR naming convention should follow some certain standards. It should have some Jira ticket starting with like that Jira ticket number, how many digits that ticket should have, and so basically those rules we define in that PR lint file. For that we need to create a PR lint. I will have a separate session for that, how to create the PR lint file and how to enable that PR lint and all those things. So here basically we enable those checks, so to push any changes to the our mainstream branches like a release or master, all this starter check should be passed. And there is another option, like you don't want to allow admins, even though we enable these rules, still the admins can do the force merges. So if you want to stop the force merges by the admins also, then you need to check this option, do not allow bypass the above settings. Okay, and also if you want to make any branch read only, then you can log the branch. If you don't want to any commits should happen to that branch, they can log the branch. So basically they are the three they are the important branch protection rules. So any change require a pull request and require this number of reviews, and if it code and reviews required from code owners, and all status checks should be paused like build, test, code quality checks, and PR link. Then only that code is allowed to merge into the critical branches like master and release. And if you want to stop the force merger from our build, then you can check this option, then create. So it asking for password, can give password of your repository. So now branch protection rules are enabled for this the release branch which are starting with the name release. So now can go to that particular release branch and try to make changes to this some file, then check whether you are able to make any changes directly or it is asking for a pull request. See here you can see one message saying that you can't commit to release branch, it is protected. Earlier we didn't have this restriction, now we enable the rules, so that's why I'm not able to do the direct commit. So the change should go through the pull request only. So let's propose these changes and create a pull request. So now we can see merging is blocked. It is asking for the review required, and merge is blocked. And if you also enable the status checks, it also look for those checks. As it's a free edition, we are not able to see those options here. So once any user reviews a code and approve, then only can commit these changes into the release branch. As a this is my PR, this is a release branch, so I don't have any approval so far, so I'm not able to commit these changes. The branch protection rule, you can create the multiple branch protection rules for the different branches. You can have a different rule set for the different branches. For example, you want to have a different rule set for the master branch, you can create a different rules. For example, for master, just you want the pull request and the number of reviews, you don't want the status checks or you don't want the coders review, then you can have a different rule set for the master. And if you can, for example, if it is a master is a dev branch, you can allow the force measure from the administrator, a different rule set for the master. Yeah, so friends, we can this is how we need to enable the branch protection rules. Just go to the just do a recap. Just go to the repository, go to the settings, go to the branches section, and can add a rule and give some name to that branch protection rule, and you can check what are the rules you want to enable it, then save the changes. Hope this clarifies how to create the branch protection rules, how to protect the branch in the GitHub. If you have any doubts or any queries, you can post in the this video description section. I'm happy to clarify those doubts. Thank you, friends.